Tell people why are you crying? Why are you so happy?
I had such a beautiful day. I had a really rough 4 months with my health. It was so tiring. And just the past week, I kind of felt like good. Like, wait, I feel like I'm good. I had so much energy, and this morning I was like, what do I want to do? I'm like, go get coffee. What if I go to the beach?
Can you also tell them about the coffee thing?
Coffee? Which thing?
How you used to can't drink coffee.
Yeah. So I think it was just like maybe 4 years ago, but it was for like 8 years that I couldn't drink caffeine without having a bladder trigger where it would hurt, and it would like get tight and it pinch, and it'd feel like I was having like an actual like urinary tract infection, like spasm of pain. It was because I didn't know for years, but I was diagnosed with interstitial cystitis. So all caffeine would bother me. And now I rejoice and I celebrate, and I love coffee. I was never like a coffee drinker before. I was like a green tea yerba mate drinker, but I love coffee. I've built a business on coffee. But I love my coffee. So my morning and my coffee is kind of like my ritual of like just celebration. And so I went and I drove on my scooter down the road in Bali, Indonesia, and I go-jacked a special croissant to the coffee place because no one place has the best coffee and best croissant. And then I went to the beach. And it was the first time it'd been sunny for like a week, and I've been missing putting like sun in on my hair because I'm a do-it-yourself kind of girl to make my hair blonde. And I really need to get some sun because I have a photo shoot for my fashion business this Friday.
What would you also say to people that are going through health? That it's just like feeling so unknown, and it's just like they're so hopeless. Because I know like you've gone through that for like a decade, and you heal yourself, and you know you're going through it for 4 months again, and then like what did you learn so far in those 4 months, and what would you also give some message to people that are going through health?
Sometimes when your health is like struggling, it really sucks. It really sucks. And it makes everything harder to be fully grateful for because it kind of feels like you're tumbling a bit. So some things that I've learned, I'll keep it really simple.
You don't have to. It's up to you.
Something that I think is going to be a forever thing that has helped me in cycles where my health was struggling is to do a parasite cleanse. So, I found this stuff called Finbin, and I'm not a doctor, so doctor, physician. But there's this stuff called Finbin, and I took it 2 weeks ago, and I noticed, A, some stuff came out. Yes, I took photos. But B, I was struggling with like yeast stuff, immune stuff. I was getting an IV twice a week, like a full immune system IV. I had blood ozone therapy. There's a lot of stuff that I was doing, but it wasn't like state changing my system. And I used Finbin for a week. I actually stopped taking probiotics. I feel like they were messing me up, the ones I was taking. If you take the wrong probiotic and it gives you acne, so I started getting these bumps. Now they're not all completely gone, but I also, in the process of doing the Finbin, I was drinking a binder, which is like you drink a little bit of like a teaspoon of clay with water. And anyway, I feel like it changed whatever imbalance was happening in my system, and I'm so grateful. So I highly recommend, if you're having stomach issues, if you eat and your stomach's hurting, if you're having bloating, or even like yeast infection stuff, or just some imbalance, I highly recommend that, because before I ended up healing myself and I went on a full celery juice cleanse, I did a parasite cleanse, and then I did a dry fast, and then I started drinking celery.
How many days to dry fast?
Dry fasting is not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. And I had been doing so much detoxing at that point. I thought, I think I'm strong enough for this, but I was so tired because I didn't eat or drink anything, including water. And I did it for 4 days. I had chronic inflammation in my body. And before this happened, I felt like a hottie toddy. I was so confident. My yoni worked, my body worked, I was on fire, and then all of my health stumbled. And it was like one thing after another with my health, after another. And it was like really hard to get my system feeling normalized and balanced and healthy and vital and fully good. But I highly recommend celery juice. From everything I understand about this world, there are so many pollutants. There are so many things that can mess up your health emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, chemically, in the water, in the air, in the food. Is that a hormone disruptor? There's so much stuff that can throw off the natural rhythms of your body. Is there parasites in the food? Like, there's so many questions that I don't fully always understand the answer to, but I know that if we can do gentle cleansing, gentle detoxing, I think that could be an answer to bringing whatever is disharmonious and put it back in harmony. So yeah, like I was taking vitamins, taking probiotics, getting IVs and doing all this stuff, but it really didn't make a difference until I stopped doing most of it and I started drinking celery juice. But actually what happened was I was drinking the celery juice 3 weeks ago and I was like, why does something feel like it's lodged? It was a weird feeling. It's like normally celery juice allows me to kind of like gently purge, and it loosens your stools. And I think that that's like a healthy thing. My body tends to be a bit more like one of those females, like a lot of women I've heard are more like prone to constipation versus men are not as much. I'm more prone to that. Kind of runs in my family. So normally celery juice helps with that. It wasn't helping at all 3 weeks ago. And I was like, something feels stuck and messed up. So then I would do 1 or 2 weeks, I would do a water enema just to help cleanse whatever was happening. And then I started doing the Finbin. And then I started doing the binders, water with clay every day. And then I'm also back drinking celery juice as a gentle cleansing. So I'm just a firm believer that if something not healthy is going on, and also I've researched a lot of different things. I've read listen to a medical medium a lot. Typically, it's just a few things to break it down to simplicity. Almost all illnesses come from an overload or imbalance of bacteria, viral matter, heavy metals, chemicals, and that's pretty much it. It's an imbalance of those things. Now, if you're having spinal issues, that could be an imbalance. I've had spinal issues of needing to like stabilize the alignment of your body, but if all else fails, drink celery juice. If all else fails, do a water enema or a coffee enema once or twice a week. If all else fails, do a parasite cleanse. I highly recommend Finbin. Do all of that. Keep that a part of your life consistently. Obviously drink water, but you need something to help gently refresh your system. Okay.
But one last thing, can you tell them about Sail With Me? Because I think that will also help them go in a state of like, if they just finish that off with like how you're going through that journey, you're fantasizing, you're romantic, a manifestation, just give them a little brief so they can then listen to that song to just feel the feeling. Can you just finish off with that?
When I was in a super, super hopeless state years ago, not only...
Do you want to sit up? You can complain to them. Like, I'm making you do this right now.
You're making me do this right now. It's like
10 p.m.
It's 10 p.m.
I'm committed to share music and story to the world.
So, health stuff is really important. I was really hopeless. I was overweight. I was like not feeling great on a regular basis. And because I had a mystery illness, I had gone to all the doctors and I didn't know where to turn. And this is where finally I found some simple things that I can share about, like parasite cleansing, detoxing, help stabilize whatever is out of balance. I didn't know all that. It took me so many years to figure it out. But in the process, what I did know was that my mind felt really toxic because I was constantly afraid I would be in pain. Afraid the way a food might trigger me or a drink might trigger my bladder, or you know, if my stomach would just like get really bloated, or if my clothing would feel uncomfortable. There was such a, you know, a bit of a mental psychosis of emotional and mental struggle. And my mental health, I think, was struggling because I wasn't fully in a, you know, a full charged positive mindset, even though I believe in positivity and I want to spread positivity. But if your body is systematically struggling with fear of a pain trigger or an emotional trigger, it's easy to be in that cyclical rhythm every day, and I was. And so I started working on a vision quest of rewriting my whole life through these manifestation tools that I basically created for myself. Visually, auditorily, written, believed. I started remapping my life. And in the process, I was in LA and I started working with this German producer, and I wrote this song called Sail With Me, and I call it enchanted pop, but really it is a mystifying sonic experience that took me, and also I believe will take you, to a place where you can like feel love or feel bliss or feel this lightness of spirit, because life can make things really dense, and it's like it elevates a lightness of spirit to kind of like leave your worries behind. Sail with me is like sailing off into a different place. Take me somewhere else. And that's where I went in my mind and my heart, to bring my physical state and my energetic state to a different reality, because I had definitely hit a wall where I was like, what is the point of living if I'm going to be trapped in this body of pain for the rest of my life? And I made a choice to prove that manifesting was real or not real. And it was a bit of work to really course correct the momentum that I was on, but I did it. And now all those Pinterest boards that I made with cute girls in bikinis, it felt so far away from how I felt in my body. I'm like, I don't blink an eye anymore. I'm shooting bikini shots for my fashion brand, and it's normal, but it took me over 8.5 years to feel recalibrated in my body. And I also made a promise to Spirit or to God that if I were able to heal myself, that I would share how I did it. And so I'm going to continuously do that the best that I can, because I know what it feels like to look in the mirror and feel like you're in a body that's not yours. I know what it feels like to desperately wish to be in a different circumstance than you wake up in. I know what it feels like to feel like you remember sex feeling great, but it's just painful and sucks, and it's been so long since you could feel pleasure. I know what that feels like too. So I don't think anyone deserves that. I wish that everyone could come home in their bodies and be happy with what they see when they look in a mirror, and just know that if you're in a momentum towards the pain and the heaviness of your mind and your heart and your body, and the rhythm of your life is keeping you stuck in that, what you have to do, from my experience, is start to make a change to course correct the direction and the trajectory to closer to where you want to be, through your beliefs, through your mindset, through your heart set, and through changed patterns. So that's what took me 8.5 years to figure out. Yeah, Amy, grow the fuck up too, that's for sure. So.
Any last message and takeaway as like an affirmation they can bring with them now if they're going through some?
Yeah, no matter where you are or where you've been, and if you feel like you have a lot of trauma or pain of feeling like your dad did you wrong, or your mom didn't take care of you, or your brother or sister abandoned you, or a guy you dated abused you. There's so many of the things on that list that I used to say to myself, and the more that you hold the charge, even though it's hard sometimes to let density go, but when you hold the charge of the things that keep you in a phrase that I had to learn later in life, a victim mindset, all these things were done to you, it just kind of keeps you disempowered. And where my illness actually started was in a way when something was done to me sexually. And it's such a vulnerable part of my story, I felt like I was cursed by this guy. And I had wished that I made different choices, and the regret that you can hold in your body from wishing you'd made different choices it's almost too heavy of a burden to hold, to ever actually be in a light state of your heart. And so, you know, some people say like forgiveness is the key to being happy. Forgiveness is a tough one, especially if you feel like people have been the villain in your life. What I've learned to do instead of just choosing the word forgiveness is to find a way to let go of the density that something holds through the belief that whatever that thing that person did or they didn't do to you, that was the best they could with how they were trained growing up, how they were loved through life, what they did or didn't like eat. So replacing the word forgiveness, because if you have a lot of pain, that can be a hard one. Just accepting whatever the person did or didn't do, it was the best that they as a human, they as a spirit inside a human, the best that they could do. I have felt super abused in a lot of circumstances by people, especially men, even though I love men. I've loved my boyfriends I've had. I've cared so much about my intimate relationships, but being verbally abused too much in my life. And it used to make me feel very weak and also overprotective and over masculine. And there's different things that we can adopt over time, and there's a chance that person that hurt you or the thing that was or wasn't done, that they were mistreated, now they're imprinting the world with that mistreatment. And I've just come to realize the best that I can do for myself is continue to build the fortitude of my vibrancy through re-illuminating my beliefs, how I want to treat myself, who I actually let into my field, and have a higher values for how I treat myself so that other people can meet those values. Because if I talk shit to myself, I might be just a vibrational match to someone talking shit to me. And the more fortitude of like, wow, what's the energy that I carry? I would like to be respected, and I also like to give respect back. So how can you hold the field of energy around you that you would like to be treated as? And I think that I was bullied as a little girl, and I was bullied a bit through my life, and there was times, especially when I wasn't healthy, I didn't feel like I had the strength to stand up for myself. And now it's more rare that I need to stand up for myself, because I just don't feel like people are even in my energy field, but there are times that I still do. And I've just learned how to let go when people fall short of my preferences. Usually the higher value man or woman you become, the higher preferences that you have. With the way people treat you, with the money that you make, with the food you eat, with the way the travel feels, there's higher preferences. And I think everyone deserves to have higher preferences. And I think maybe that could make the world a better place. You know, what if everyone had a wealth mindset? What if everyone believed that they deserve love? What if everyone felt like they could respect themselves? And now the actual reflective emanation outwards is respect for life, for the earth, for animals. I know this is a total rant, but I think that there's so much, as is above, so is below, as is like outside of us, so is the connection to the energy of what's inside of us. So if you were to ask me if I had an easy life, I would say, fuck no. I had such a hard life in a lot of ways, but I didn't show it on the outside. I felt so depressed so much in my life, so alone. And then caught in some really toxic relationships that I'm like, why have I not learned the lesson yet? And sometimes life comes in cycles, and you have to pace yourself, turn to learn the lesson, and you either give up and just kill yourself, which there's been a few times in my life I was like, I think I should just die. You know, I say that because I used to just hide my real human because I wanted to look strong all the time and be a hero and be the pop star. But I've gone through so much stuff that I think that it's important for more humans to be relatable, not just show the good stuff, but share the pain so we can also rise above it and find ways to let go of how people have fallen short of our expectations or did things to us. And no matter where you are in your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual IQ, there's always somewhere we came from. There's always the presence, and technically there's always somewhere we want to get to. So the more that we can find things that bring us joy in our day, give what we want others to give us to ourselves, and do some gentle detoxing. I really believe in that. The celery juice, the parasite cleansing, I feel like the body really can hold a lot of energy that can help the heart open or not, and call in more beautiful experiences. I say prayers out loud. Now, I think affirmations and prayers are not that different, and I'm here to tell you that. You can pray to something, I'm wanting this, thank you for this. It's the same thing as affirming. You just might not be directing at an angel or a God form, but I affirm to myself a lot of my life what I want more of. And I love when I can be so humbled by the feeling of gratitude with all that I have. And no matter how much you have in life, no matter how far you've come, if it's not that far or really far, what is going to make you really feel it is your perspective. So if you ever need a state change and you're feeling like shit, just try to imagine that everything you have is like, just imagine it's like almost like small, and you just go into space and you can just feel the grandioseness of whatever the universe looks like, and you can just realize, wow, I'm alive. And you can count the gratitude of the most simple things, even if you want to get somewhere else so fast. Like, wow, I'm grateful for the sunshine in my face. It's always important to count the blessings, especially if we feel like we're having trouble counting them. So that's what I have to say. Everyone deserves to feel good in their body.